Donald Trump just had a 60 Minutes interview and got embarrassed by his concepts of a plan. He gets called out for wanting to end Obamacare but never actually having a replacement. Let's take a look at this video.
Obamacare is terrible. It's bad health care at far too high a price. We should fix that. We should fix it. And we can fix it with the Democrats. All they have to do is let the country open and we'll fix it. They have to let the country open and I'll sit down with the Democrats and we'll fix it. But they have to let the country. And you know what they have to do? All they have to do is raise 5 hands. We don't need all of them.
But so you're saying your plan is to tell the Democrats to vote to end the shutdown.
Correct. Very simple.
And that you will put forward a health care plan?
No, we will work on fixing the bad health care that we have right now. We have terrible health care at too expensive for the people, not for the government, for the people.
But Mr. President, with all due respect, you've been talking about fixing the health care insurance plan since 2015.
Do it because of the Democrats.
But since 2015, you've said you'd fix it.
I've been talking about it for a long time. We almost did it. We were 1 vote short. We would have had great health care.
That was in 2017, when Senate Republicans failed by 1 vote to partially repeal Obamacare.
If Donald Trump was successful in repealing Obamacare, we would have no health care. Because as we just saw with the government shutdown, people's premiums are increasing by 3 times because Republicans refuse to renew the tax credits for the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, which has saved low-income Americans a lot of money on their health care coverage. And they're posting pictures of their premiums increasing as well, from $732 a month to $1,069. So how do you want to end something without actually having a solution for it? He's been talking about this with 2015, and we saw in his interview with Kamala Harris. And here was Trump saying a year ago he still only had concepts of a plan.
Replacing Obamacare for 10 years, and then he voted against. Nobody understands
Sir, you said during the campaign you had concepts of a plan. Do you have an actual plan at this point for health care?
Yes, we have concepts of a plan that would be better.
Still just concepts? Do you have a fully developed plan?
Let me explain.
We're in the middle of a recession, and his biggest worry right now is Obama. And even as of today, he still has concepts and no plan. Very embarrassing. And what's so crazy is at the beginning of the interview, in the first question, he interrupts her and just yells Democrats' fault like a child. Let's take a look at this video.
Shutdown. We are now approaching the longest shutdown in American history.
Democrats' fault.
Under your presidency, we're talking about more than 1 million federal workers who are not getting a paycheck, including our air traffic controllers. You see there's traffic snarls out at the airports now. Sure. This weekend, food aid for more than 42 million Americans is set to expire. What are you doing as president to end the shutdown?
All we're doing is we keep voting. I mean, the Republicans are voting almost unanimously to end it, and the Democrats keep voting against ending it. You know, they've never had this. This has happened like 18 times before. The Democrats always voted for an extension, always saying, give us an extension, we'll work it out. They've lost their way. They become crazed lunatics. And all they have to do, Nora, is say, let's vote.
Yes, crazed lunatics that are trying to prevent Americans from losing their health care coverage. And I think Trump forgot the government's job is to serve the American people, because we are the government. So when the government starts to act within their own self-interest, everything falls apart, as we're seeing it happen now. But I don't think Donald Trump actually knows how to run a country. I think he only knows how to campaign, because he seems to think people can pay for their groceries with their 401k. He also seems to think every American has a 401k. Let's take a look at this video.
Just hit an all-time high. We're doing really well.
Can I ask you, Mr. President, on that point, though, when the stock market is doing well, that doesn't affect everybody. Not everybody's invested in the stock market.
It does.
But there have been grocery prices
are up. 401ks. People have 401ks. Their 401ks are double what they were a year ago.
But for people that don't have 401ks or are not invested in the stock market, but they've seen their grocery prices go up. Inflation.
No, you're wrong. They went up under Biden. Right now, they're going down. Other than beef, which we're working on, which we can solve very quickly.
What good is a 401k when people are losing their jobs and can't pay their mortgage? Because just very recently, the most Google search term was, how do I pay my mortgage this month? And this is the problem with having a president who is so out of touch with the average earners of America that he can't fathom people don't have access to millions of dollars for food whenever they want. When was the last time Trump had a budget for survival? I'd wager it was never in his life. Has he had to figure out how he's going to work out $20 from the rest of his paycheck to eat for the next week? But according to Trump, you'll be able to eat at the age of 59 if you have a 401k in the first place. He also seems to think that being the president means he can do whatever he wants without approval from anybody, which he has stated on multiple occasions. And right here, he wants to get rid of the filibuster in the Senate. The filibuster is when 60% of the Senate has to agree on a vote to pass a bill. There's 100 people in the Senate. About half is usually Democrats and Republicans, but it's a little uneven with a couple independents. If they do not get 60 people to vote on a bill, it does not pass, resulting in something like the government shutdown. And the government shutdown is happening because Republicans do not want to renew the ACA tax credits to keep people's health coverage premiums the same. So if Democrats agreed to pass that bill that Republicans want to pass, everybody's healthcare coverage is going to go up significantly. And because the government is shut down because Republicans did not renew that ACA tax credit, everybody's healthcare coverage premium is going up significantly. Trump wants to end this filibuster needing 60% of the Senate vote so that they only need 51. This significantly puts this in his favor to do whatever he wants and not need permission from anybody outside of his bribing authority. Because you know Trump loves bribes. Let's take a look at this video.
Do it by being extorted by the Democrats who have lost their way. There's something wrong with these people.
So then what happens on November
Schumer is a
15th when the
basket
troops
case.
don't get a paycheck?
Schumer is a basket case, and he has nothing to lose. He's become, I just left Japan, he's become a kamikaze pilot.
Sounds like it's not going to get solved, the shutdown.
It's going to get solved, yeah. Oh, it's going to get solved.
How?
We'll get it solved. Eventually, they're going to have to vote.
You're saying the Democrats will capitulate.
I think they have to. And if they don't vote, that's their problem. Now, I happen to agree with something else. I think we should do the nuclear option. This is a totally different nuclear, by the way. It's called ending the filibuster.
AKA, give me all in total control as an authoritarian, AKA a dictator. Because when he said he was going to be a dictator on day one, he also meant he was going to continue to be a dictator thereafter for the rest of his life. But unfortunately for him, his lies and dementia is catching up so fast to him that he had to pull out a piece of paper to remember what to say. He's writing down his lies now and his claims that he stopped 8 wars. He couldn't even remember of the names of the countries of the wars he ended. Let's take a look at this video.
That was Joe Biden's war, not my war. I inherited that stupid war. But I brought, just a little list of look at this. Wars.
President Trump wanted to make sure we saw the list of 8 international conflicts he says he's been able to end since returning to office.
And you have branded yourself the peace president.
Well, I think I did pretty good. I solved, those are 8 of the 9 wars I solved. You know how I solved them? I said, in many cases, in 60%, I said, if you don't stop fighting, I'm putting tariffs on both of your countries and you're not going to be able to do business with the United States.
Why isn't that working with Putin?
It is working with Putin, I think.
Trump has apparently ended 8 wars by using 6 words. Don't make me use the tariffs. The same tariffs that are bankrupting our country and making the rest of the world ignore us for trade partners. And it's had such a negative impact on our country that Republican congressmen voted against Trump to stop his ability to give out tariffs because they don't think he knows what he's doing. According to Trump, not only does his tariffs bring in trillions of dollars that none of us have seen, but it ends wars as we station warships outside of Venezuela and threaten to invade Nigeria for a problem that doesn't exist. Trump's whole plan is to repeat a lie over and over until everybody starts to believe it's true. The only problem with that is only MAGA starts to believe it's true. Other countries laugh when Trump lies about them. And what about the war you started in our own country by deploying the National Guard to all these cities and enlightening racists and Nazis and emboldening them? How about ICE assaulting Americans and stereotyping every brown person they see on the street and trying to arrest them? What about that war? But I guess we'll give him a second to think about that. And on the topic of Trump's tariffs, did you know he wants to do this all over again? Because right here, he gets asked, what do you plan to do for the next 3 years? He said, I want to have another year like this one every year. Take a look at this video.
What do you hope to accomplish in the next 3 years?
Well, I hope I can have the same year that we had. Look, we have been acknowledged to have the greatest 9 months. It's 9 months. The greatest 9 months in the history of the presidency. So if I can keep that going, I'll be very happy.
Absolutely nobody has said that ever in the existence of him winning the election. No one has said that. What people are actually saying is, I can't believe it's only been 9 months and our country's ruined. As a matter of fact, this year was so bad that 66% of Americans say he did terrible with inflation, 65% of Americans said he did nothing to help the middle class, and 63% said he did terrible things to our economy. And this guy wants to have the same year we already had for 3 straight years. He is so out of touch with reality and so caught up in his own lies, I don't think he knows what the truth is anymore. Speaking of his lies, after posting multiple Trump 2028 memes, he gets asked if he's actually planning on running for a 3rd term. He said, I don't even think about it. Trump, you wouldn't shut up about it. But let's take a look at this video.
To talk about 2028 and who will be at the top of the Republican ticket. Can you set the record straight? You're not going to try and run for a 3rd term?
Well, I don't even think about it. I will tell you, a lot of people want me to run, But the difference between us and the Democrats is we really do have a strong bench. I don't want to use names because it's, inappropriate, but it's too early.
But people do like when you start talking about whether you like J.D. Vance or
I
Secretary
do like
Rubio.
J.D. Vance. I
or
like Marco
Secretary
Rubio. I like so many people. We have an unbelievable.
This is the same guy that just a week ago just posted a picture of him in an airplane titled King Trump. And here are some Trump 2028 AI videos Trump has been posting in the past month. He posted these on his account, along with his King Trump airplane he posted during the No Kings protests. With the crown on, you can't make this up. And here's a final video posted from his account. But according to Trump here, he doesn't even think about it. These people lie so much, but the lies catch up to them faster and faster every single day. They lie so much, they are begging to be exposed. The same way he's lying about not wanting to go to war with Venezuela, but putting warships outside of their coastline. That's a direct threat. And you killed over 56 of their citizens in boats under the accusation that they were drug boats with zero confirmation. So here's what he had to say about that.
Are we going to war against Venezuela?
I doubt it. I don't think so, but they've been treating us very badly, not only on drugs. They've dumped hundreds of thousands of people into our country that we didn't want. People from prisons, they emptied their prisons into our country. They also, if you take a look, they emptied their mental institutions and their insane asylums into the United States of America because Joe Biden was the worst president in the history of our country.
Now check this out. We're not going to war with Venezuela, but we have warships waiting outside their coastline. We've already killed many of their people, and Trump just deployed 16,000 American troops that are all waiting for contact with Venezuela, and there were plans that were leaked saying he allegedly had missiles pointed towards the military bases, and he does have missiles pointed towards Venezuela. And when another reporter asked about him targeting Venezuelan military bases, he of course said no, and then deployed 16,000 troops. Trump is doing so many terrible things at once, it makes you ask who his handler is. Because as all of this goes on, potential wars, hungry children, government shutdown, he is still sicking the DOJ on his political adversaries and making up laws they never broke. Here's what he had to say about that. He brings up his own felonies. Let's take a look at this video.
James Comey, John Bolton, Letitia James were all recently indicted. There's a pattern to these names. They're all public figures who have publicly denounced you. Is it political retribution?
You know what? You know who got indicted? The man you're looking at. I got indicted, and I was innocent. And here I am because I was able to beat all of the nonsense that was thrown at me. And yet, when you go after a dirty cop like Comey, or a guy like Bolton, who I hear I don't know anything about it. I hear he took records all over the place. Who knows? Letitia James is a terrible, dishonest person, in my opinion.
Did you instruct the Department of Justice to go after
Not
them?
in any way, shape, or form. No, you don't have to instruct them because they were so dirty, they were so crooked, they were so corrupt that the honest people we have, Pam Bondi's doing a very good job. Kash Patel's doing a very good job. The honest people that we have, go after them automatically.
How ironic they brought this post up because I was just about to pull this up myself. But let's give you a better view of this post of Trump lying on air. He got exposed after every single thing he said. I love to see it because here's what he posted on September 20th. Pam, I have reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially same old story as last time, all talk, no action. Nothing is being done. What about Comey, Adam, Shifty Schiff, Letitia? They're all guilty as hell, but nothing is going to be done. Then we almost put in a Democrat-supported U.S. attorney in Virginia with a really bad Republican past. A woke rhino who is never going to do his job. That's why two of the worst Dem senators pushed him so hard. He even lied to the media and said he quit and that we had no case. No, I fired him and there was a great case and many lawyers and legal pundits say so. What an admission is this? Lindsey Halligan is a really good lawyer and likes you a lot. We can't delay any longer. It's killing a reputation. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now. And specifically in this interview, they asked about Comey, Bolton, and Letitia James. The lies expose themselves at this point. And lastly, with Trump spending hundreds of millions of dollars deploying the National Guard in American cities for seemingly no reason other than to divide and cause chaos and pick up trash, when they really should be deployed to Trump's office at the White House because he is the biggest national security threat we have right now. Here was what Trump had to say about threatening to deploy even more National Guard.
Tuesday, while speaking to American troops in Japan, you talked about U.S. cities that are having trouble with crime. Right. And you said, if we need more than the National Guard, we'll send more than the National Guard. What does that mean, send more than the National Guard?
Well, if you had to send in the Army or if you had to send in the Marines, I'd do that in a heartbeat. You know, you have a thing called the Insurrection Act. You know that, right? Do you know that I could use that immediately and no judge can even challenge you on that? But I haven't chosen to do it because I haven't felt we need it.
So you're going to send the military into American cities?
Well, if I wanted to, I could, if I wanted to use the Insurrection Act. The Insurrection Act has been used routinely by presidents, and if I needed it, that would mean I could bring in the Army, the Marines, I could bring in whoever I want. But I haven't chosen to use it. I hope you give me credit.
Couple of things wrong here. No, he cannot just call the Insurrection Act whenever he wants because it can quickly be revoked by Congress. The same way they revoked his ability to place tariffs, and we'll get to that video in a second. Judges can most certainly challenge him on all of his decisions. Second, the Insurrection Act has not been used routinely. The last time the Insurrection Act was used was in 1992 during the Los Angeles riots. And do you know why there was Los Angeles riots? It's because they beat Rodney King. Because according to American history, when people feel like the government has turned on them, they tend to turn on the government as well. And if you ask me, I think Trump has been trying to cause civil unrest. The same civil unrest he said he deployed the National Guard for in the first place that doesn't exist, and the same way he's allowing ICE to amass and beat Americans, I think he wants it to have more of a reason to call on the Insurrection Act, because right now he can't. He's not getting what he wants. The No Kings protest is peaceful. Everything is peaceful. The only violence is propagated and coming from Donald Trump himself, which, by the way, even Venezuela is hip to Trump's game because their leader said that Trump is trying to justify an attack the same way he does to us in our own country and expose that allegedly Trump was trying to set up a false flag attack on his own warship to have a reason to fire on Venezuela the same way Putin did it with Ukraine, who happens to be his best friend for some reason. But we know why. This is embarrassing. They're running out of lies. Keep exposing them. They're feeling the pressure and they're cracking under it. Speaking of the war ender claiming he's not trying to start a war, he gets asked about his nuke testing that he just initiated last week, saying we need to test all of our nukes. So we're deploying warships and 16,000 military members outside of another country. We're bombing their citizens in international waters, and now we're testing nukes, but we're not getting ready for war after telling Nigeria we're going to invade. Let's take a look at this video.
An hour before your meeting with President Xi, you posted on social media that you instructed the, quote, Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons immediately. What did you mean?
Well, we have more nuclear weapons than any other country. I think we should do something about denuclearization. And I did actually discuss that with both President Putin and President Xi. We have enough nuclear weapons to blow up the world 150 times. Russia has a lot of nuclear weapons, and China will have a lot. They have some, they have quite a bit. But
so why do we need to test our nuclear weapons?
Well, because you have to see how they work. You know, you do have to. And the reason I'm saying testing is because Russia announced that they were going to be doing a test. If you notice, North Korea is testing constantly. Other countries are testing. We're the only country that doesn't test, and I don't want to be the only country that doesn't test.
Are you
And Trump just exposed himself, because that brings me to my next point that I was going to make. The main contenders we know testing nukes is Russia and North Korea, both countries with dictators. How ironic. It's not ironic, actually. It's expected at this point. This guy exposes himself in his lie every other day. This is embarrassing. This is the result of having yes men and never having pressure put around you to tell the truth. Well, if no one else will do it, the American citizens will. Goodbye, Donald Trump. He's trying to buy time for midterms, not swearing in Adelita Grijalva to get the Epstein files released. He's trying to put up new laws to prevent people from voting under the guise of trying to make it more secure. We don't need anything to change Donald Trump. And right after he exposes that he wants to be a dictator just like them, which we've already known, he then lies about China and drags them into this. Trump, what are you trying to do to our farmers? Weaken our relations even more with our trade partners? And the reporter exposes him in front of his face again. Let's take a look at this video.
Are you saying that after more than 30 years, the United States is going to start detonating nuclear weapons for
I'm
testing?
saying that we're going to test nuclear weapons like other countries do, yes.
But the only country that's testing nuclear weapons is North Korea. China and Russia are not.
No, Russia's testing
So
nuclear weapons.
my understanding
And
is
China's testing them too, you just don't know about it.
that would be certainly very newsworthy. My understanding is what Russia did recently was test essentially the delivery systems for nuclear weapons, essentially missiles, which we can do that, but not with nuclear
Russia's
warheads.
testing and China's testing, but they don't talk about it. You know, we're a open society. We're different. We talk about it. We have to talk about it because otherwise you people are going to report. They don't have reporters that are going to be writing about it. We do.
Ah, yes, and Trump somehow has all the insider knowledge. message and has told nobody about this until right now. Loudmouth Trump is just now coming out. But when it comes to Putin for Trump, I guess it's monkey see, monkey do. And North Korea, a leader nobody respects. But he doesn't want respect, he wants control. He wants forced respect. And then when Trump gets asked about Venezuela for the second time and striking them, his answer suddenly changes. And I think we all know what that means, because he's definitely alluding to war. Let's take a look at this video.
Are Maduro's days as president numbered?
I would say, yeah. I think so, yeah.
And this issue of potential land strikes in Venezuela, is that true?
I don't tell you that. I mean, I'm not saying it's true or untrue, but I wouldn't.
Why would we
I wouldn't
do
be
it?
inclined to say that I would do that, but because I don't talk to a reporter about whether or not I'm going to strike.
How insane. He's losing America. He's losing midterms. So what does he do? He starts wars in our own country and with others as well, and is now threatening to strike Venezuela. And let's hope he's not doing this just to remain president, and accused Obama and Zelensky of trying to do the same thing. When Zelensky was legitimately attacked by Russia and Obama made our country a better place to live, but since 2011, Trump has been attacking him and lying about him. And everything we've seen Trump accuse someone else of doing, he ends up doing later on. So let's just hope that he does not start a war. But if he did that, he might get impeached before midterms. However, he knows his time is ticking and he's not lasting past it. And last but not least, release the Epstein files, Donald Trump. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please make sure you have a great day today. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time.